Hey there. I've been taking some time today to reflect on my childhood, and I don't know if any of you have done that recently, but I've been reflecting on what I was taught. Beliefs, historical facts that are maybe now more fiction than fact, traditions, myths. I've also been making revisions to that childhood of what I was taught and giving myself updates and evolving and expanding in my ability to see what really was going on behind some of this. And it was in this type of reflection that I thought about a practice that if any of you who are born and raised here in the United States must have done almost on a daily basis, was standing and putting a hand over the heart and looking at the American flag and saying the Pledge of Allegiance. So I did a little bit of research on the Pledge of Allegiance, and I went to ushistory.org, and this is what I found. The Pledge of Allegiance was written in August 1892 by the socialist minister named Francis Bellamy, and he published it originally in the Youth's Companion on September 8, 1892. Bellamy had hoped that this pledge would be used by citizens in any country. And this is how the original version of it read. I pledge allegiance to my flag and the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sounds a little familiar, right? In 1923, the words, the flag of the United States of America were added, and this time the pledge sounded like this. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. In 1954, in response to a communist threat that was happening at the time, President Eisenhower encouraged Congress to add the words under God, making the 31-word pledge that we use today, and Bellamy's daughter to object to this alteration. Now, I'm looking at that going, it's nice to know somebody objected to that. Not that I have a strong opinion one way or the other, but it's interesting that maybe that's a fact we didn't know, that it wasn't in the original pledge. So today our Pledge of Allegiance sounds like this. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now, as I reviewed the pledge, I started thinking, which parts of that pledge do I expand on? Which parts do I evolve? Which parts do I hold to now that I'm adult? And knowing what I know and knowing what we've gone through in the last several months as a country, even the last 3 or 4 years. And this is what I came up with. What I really like is pledging my allegiance to being indivisible and pledging my allegiance to liberty and justice for all. Mr. Rogers said that in times of need, find the helpers. And today I'm proposing in times of need, which we're certainly sitting in, what if we find the uniters? What if we find the people who are just as pledged as I am, and maybe you are, to being a country that is indivisible, even though we have differences, and to a country that is dedicated to liberty and justice for all. Not for a few, not for one group over another, not for special interests. Today I was also revising something that I do to plug into my own personal power, and I'm going to be making a course on this soon of how you can plug into your personal power. This is a personal philosophy that I review very frequently and see how I'm doing, and this is the part that I was revising today. At this time, I offer myself, I almost pledge myself, I offer myself as a single human who is listening and participating in a conversation with others who are like me and unlike me. And I am willing to change and evolve and admit my missteps and my misfires and to sit with them while they do that as well. And from that, I want my efforts to join with theirs and be indivisible so that we might increase the amount of peace and liberty and justice for all. Sorry for the phone interruption. So In today's being true in a time of turmoil, I guess what I'm asking and I'm challenging is for all of us to repledge our allegiance. If you are one like me, this is a time to pledge to indivisibility, to systemically sit at a table and to go out on the streets and work things out, to bring about an evolution so that liberty and justice for all might be so. It's time for us to vote for the uniters. It's time for us to find and be those people who are uniters and who will seek liberty and justice for all. There's no other way to amend ourselves and be great and to be bold and to expand than to have that sort of mindset. Anything else will lead us back to turmoil and chaos. So the message for today in this episode 7 of Be True in a Time of Turmoil is to remind us, those of us who did put our hand over our heart and look at a flag and pledge, let's act. Let's not just pledge our allegiance. Let's make our actions, our choices, support indivisibility, liberty, and justice for all. Be a badass. Go for that. Thanks for joining me today.